So let's get started. Command or Control 0 just to fit it in the screen. I'm gonna hit Command or Control J just to duplicate it. And the first thing I'm gonna do is come to Edit, Sky Replacement, and choose this blue sky. Click outside of that to lock it in. And I could make it just a little brighter, right? That black to match the brightness that's hitting this house, which we're still gonna have to kind of go in and manipulate a little bit. I'll leave it there, click OK. Toggle down the sky replacement group because I really don't want to manipulate any of these masks that it's pre-built. It's just going to leave it. And actually I'm going to push everything to its top layer by hitting Command Option Shift letter E, but I'm not on the right layer to do that, right? So I'm hitting Command Z to undo. I need to choose the topmost layer, even if it's a group. Command Option Shift letter E, and see how it put everything squished together on the top, which is exactly what I wanted. And I'm going to hit Command or Control J to duplicate that again, because this is going to be my new background. Now, it looks a little too bright, right? This area here looks too bright. The building looks too bright. Let's go into the Camera Raw filter and make some adjustments. So I'll add a tiny bit of grain. I will go ahead and vignette it a little bit. Dehaze is always great when things are a little too bright. And let's go into detail. It's okay if this has a lot of color noise reduction, pushing it more towards an illustration. Maybe the clarity coming up a little bit. Yeah, that pulls things down nicely. And then I could still brighten the shadow area a little bit, but pull down the highlight area just a little bit. Then go into color and say, yeah, go ahead and add a little vibrance. Not too much. Don't want it to go crazy because I can, yeah, not going to do a whole lot there actually. I'm going to hit OK. So that's the adjustment. Your eye auto adjusts. So here's where we were. All right, that's already looking a little better. I'd like to continue pushing it. I'll hit Command or Control J. And I'm going to go choose Multiply just to see, yeah, I like what it did with the dirt. It's making the house too dark, making the sky and the background way too dark. So we're going to add a layer mask. And what we're going to do is we're going to invert that layer mask. Remember, white reveals. But if I hit Command or Control I while that mask is selected, I invert it to a black mask, and black conceals. This is going to allow me to paint on this mask to kind of slice through it. So I want white in my foreground, so I can hit X. Remember D for default colors, and hit the X key or toggle this switch until white's in the foreground. Then I want you to come up and choose your brush tool. And I pretty much do most everything on a hardness of 0. And I'm going to click outside of here just to get rid of that. I'm going to right click on the right bracket key, bigger brush, so I can make a pass. All right, that pass at 100% is too much. Command or Control Z. I'm at 3 for a 30% opacity brush. And to make my painting easier, I'm at Command minus to shrink it a little. Bigger brush, smaller image. That means I can do a quick pass. That looks nice, very subtle. Almost went too much, but that's still nice. Maybe a little pass right here on the house. Another little pass right here on the house. Maybe a bigger brush, pass across the sky. I don't like the sky pass. I'm gonna hit Command Z on both of those. Go back, add the one to the house. Command 0 to fit it in screen. I like where that is. I'm on Command Option Shift letter E to the top, and then I'm going to duplicate it by hitting Command or Control J. Choose Overlay, Soft Light, and toggle that off. I like what that did. I just don't like that it did it at 100%. Remember, the volume is wide open. I'd probably pull that down to like a 50% overlay. See how they gave it a little subtle color boost? So this is great, but that 51% soft light, I want to push it to its own layer. So I'm going to hit Command Option letter E. So now I have a normal layer on the top. I'm going to select the second layer, select the bottom layer holding the Shift key. Everything is selected. Oh wait, I don't want to put my background layer in the group. So I'll hold down the Command key, Control key on Windows users, and deselect that one layer. Now hit Command or Control G to group everything, turn it off. Here's where we started, kind of a bright, over bright image in the foreground, stormy sky. And this is more of a bluer sky. This foreground is much richer and textured. It's not so blown out, not too bright. Now let's add some text. I want you to grab the text tool, grab Montera, bold initials, around 23, and type it in. We can't see anything because my text layer is below my image layer, so I need to click and drag it above. There we go. Drag this to around, I'd say 98 or 99, somewhere in there. And I'm going to toggle this just to tweak the leading. I'll click lock it in. I don't like that color blue, so I'm going to click on that blue. And remember, it's not going to help me if the text isn't selected. So I'm going to double click on the text. It's going to auto highlight it. Then I can click on the blue. Then I can click on the sky that's in the image, kind of make it, yeah, see how that blue looks nice? Like this one doesn't, it's a little too dark. But this light one's a little too light, but somewhere in here it looks very nice. Now we can't see it, obviously, so what do we need to do? I'm going to accept it. I'm going to add a stroke. Could be, actually, let's try an outer glow this time. So normal blend mode, opacity 82%, a little 13% noise. Again, double click that to set it all the way to white, 255 in the RGB channels. Click OK. And then my spread is 68, my size is 17, range and jitter. You kind of see what those settings are. I like that. I'm gonna click OK. Now I just want to make it in a different location. V for the move tool. I'm on the text layer. I'm just gonna pull it over here, kind of like it's a postcard ad. And I think I would probably for sale. I think I like that. I think I want this to be a little smaller, and then I'll have to highlight everything because I need to make it closer together. That leading, you know, the space between the lines. Yeah, I think I like that. Move tool. And now we need to type in Las Vegas, Nevada. And remember, whenever you do that, choose a different font for the second font. Select it. Choose Arial Black, regular. I guess 30 is fine. I'm going to click the color here, and I want to choose that same blue we just chose for the other. Click OK. And then I'm going to actually grab that outer glow while I hold the Option or Alt key and drag it up here. Nice. Move tool, kind of setting the location. Now that outer glow, since that's smaller text, is a little more overpowering, so I'll double click to open it and maybe just lighten up the size a little bit. Now the last thing, it's going into a video, so it needs to be 16:9 crop ratio. So choose the crop tool, choose 16:9, click in there to make sure you have these grid marks, and we can cut out the foreground a little bit, probably put about this much foreground in there, maybe come in just a tiny bit, pull that up a tiny bit. Something like that is how I want you to crop it. Make sure delete crop pixels is activated. Select it. I think the tiny home for sale is now just a little too big, so I'm going to actually select both font layers, Command or Control T, and just free transform it down a touch, move it to about right there. There you go. That's what I want you to do.